In the scorching Nevada desert, where temperatures can melt asphalt and silence seems to stretch forever, a concrete colossus rises from the rust-colored rock, a monument to human ambition that whispers of both triumph and failure. The Hoover Dam stands not just as an engineering marvel, but as a testament to a dream that never fully materialized, a massive water reservoir promised but never completely realized. Imagine a project so enormous that its concrete could pave a continuous road from Seattle to Miami, a ribbon of infrastructure stretching across an entire continent. This wasn't just a construction project. It was a national statement during the Great Depression, a symbol of American resilience carved into the unforgiving landscape of the Colorado River Canyon. Workers arrived from across the country, desperate for work, willing to risk their lives hanging hundreds of feet above the churning river below. In 1931, as economic collapse gripped the nation, thousands of men converged on a remote desert location with nothing but hope and raw determination. They would carve a massive structure from solid rock, divert an entire river, and create what was then the world's largest hydroelectric project. But beneath the grand narrative of progress lurked a darker, more complex reality. Water, the very essence of the dam's purpose, would become its most profound irony. Designed to control flooding, generate electricity, and provide irrigation, the Hoover Dam would ultimately face an existential challenge, a persistent, brutal drought that would prevent it from ever reaching its full potential. Geologists and engineers knew the risks. The Colorado River's flow was never as consistent as early planners had imagined. Tree ring studies and geological evidence suggested centuries of climate volatility, but political ambition and economic necessity pushed the project forward. They were building not just a dam, but a dream of controllable water in one of the most unpredictable landscapes on the planet. The dam's story begins in a moment of national desperation. Lake Mead, the reservoir created by this monumental structure, would become a stark symbol of environmental transformation and human limitation. The construction itself was a feat that defied imagination. Workers toiled in temperatures exceeding 120 degrees, suspended on narrow platforms, using techniques that would be considered impossibly dangerous by modern standards. They poured massive concrete blocks, creating a structure so complex that cooling the concrete became a scientific challenge in itself. Each block was carefully designed to interlock, creating a monolithic structure that could withstand immense water pressure. But the most shocking truth emerged slowly. They had built a magnificent structure that would never fully serve its intended purpose. The dam would become a monument to human engineering, impressive, beautiful, yet fundamentally compromised by the very environmental conditions it sought to master. By 1935, the concrete colossus rising from Black Canyon had become more than just an engineering project. It was a symbol of national resilience during the Great Depression. Thousands of workers, many desperate for any employment, had transformed a treacherous river canyon into a testament of human determination. The Colorado River, once an untamed wilderness, was now being forcibly reshaped by human ambition, with each massive concrete block representing not just construction, but a promise of control over nature's most unpredictable forces. The dam's construction revealed a brutal economic calculus of the era. Workers endured scorching temperatures reaching 120 degrees Fahrenheit, working in conditions that would be considered inhumane by modern standards. They earned between 50 cents to $125 per day, a pittance that nonetheless represented survival during America's most profound economic crisis. These men, many migrants from Oklahoma, Texas, and other drought-stricken regions, were literally building hope with their bare hands, pouring concrete and wrestling steel in a landscape that seemed both magnificent and merciless. Geologists and engineers quickly realized the Colorado River's complex hydrology presented challenges far beyond initial projections. The river's flow was dramatically less consistent than early surveys had suggested, with extreme variability that would challenge the dam's fundamental purpose. Sophisticated measurements revealed that the river's annual water volume could fluctuate by nearly 300%, a statistical nightmare for any water management strategy. This fundamental uncertainty meant that from its inception, the Hoover Dam was designed with an inherent contradiction: a massive water retention structure built in a region fundamentally unsuited for consistent water storage. The political machinery behind the dam's construction was equally complex. Federal bureaucracies, Western state governments, and powerful agricultural interests all converged with competing agendas. California's growing agricultural empire needed water desperately, while Arizona and Nevada watched with a mixture of hope and suspicion. The Colorado River Compact of 1922 had already established an intricate framework of water rights, but the Hoover Dam would test those agreements in ways no one could fully anticipate. Environmental conditions began revealing themselves as the most significant challenge. The surrounding landscape, a harsh desert ecosystem, seemed to resist human intervention at every turn. Geological surveys showed that the river's watershed was experiencing long-term climatic shifts, with precipitation patterns becoming increasingly erratic. By 1936, when water first began to accumulate behind the massive concrete barrier, something was already becoming clear. This was not going to be the straightforward water management project everyone had imagined. The reservoir would begin its long, complicated history of never quite fulfilling its original promise, a monument to human ambition perpetually wrestling with environmental reality. Each state's water allocation became a delicate negotiation, with legal frameworks being constructed almost as meticulously as the dam itself. Scientists now understand these changes as early indicators of what we now recognize as climate change, but at the time, they were simply puzzling anomalies that complicated the dam's primary mission. The very landscape seemed to be arguing against human engineering, presenting a silent but persistent resistance to the ambitious project. By the 1940s, Hoover had become more than a mere engineering marvel. It was a political chess piece in America's water wars. Infrastructure. The undam Wasn't had never anticipated the complex ecological dance that would unfulfilled reveal itself. Water allocation became a silent battlefield between states. Farmers, industrial and planners, political all wanted their share of this slice of liquid lifeline. Nevada-Colorado River's Dell rights transformed into a brutal, labyrinthine legal battleground that would consume decades of negotiation. Confrontation. California, Nevada, and each state viewed the river like a strategic resource to increasingly battlefield, where every acre-foot represented water, represented potential economic dominance. Engineers and politicians began realizing that concrete and engineering prowess alone didn't guarantee water security. Drought began revealing the dam's fundamental vulnerability. The reservoir created capacity started dropping dramatic decline, exposing a critical original design. Water climate the 22 acre-feet originally projected, actual sustainable yield dropped dramatically, sometimes functioning at mere 40% of initial projections. Climate change wasn't just a theoretical concept. It was becoming a tangible mathematical reality mapped precisely across these concrete measurements. The Native American tribes watched these developments with profound observations, understanding water's deeper spiritual and ecological significance long before colonial infrastructure arrived. Their ancestral knowledge suggested that massive infrastructure projects without Hoover Dam disrupted natural ecological balances, a perspective increasingly validated by scientific research. The reservoir wasn't just about water storage, represented massive human disintervention with cascading consequences far beyond initial engineering blueprint. Environmental scientists began documenting precise measurements, showing how this massive concrete structure fundamentally altered river ecosystems. by tension between human ambition and environmental natural limitations became increasingly apparent. The dam, originally celebrated as pinnacle engineering achievement, was slowly revealing itself as monument human overreach. How water flow dynamics transformed entire regional ecological landscapes. The dam wasn't just an infrastructure. It was massive geographical intervention that redefined hydraulic systems, creating new geological and environmentalities that would persist generations. Each cubic meter of concrete represented not just technological achievement, profound environmentally transformative potential moment. Water didn't simply flow. It calculated, negotiated complex political, ecological, and infrastructure landscapes, where concrete drop carried historical, economic, environmental significance far beyond simple liquid transportation. As Lake Mead's water levels continued to plummet, something extraordinary began to emerge from the depths, the ghostly remnants of a landscape drowned decades ago. Sunken boats, abandoned mining structures, and entire forgotten communities started to resurface, revealing a hidden history that had been submerged for generations. The receding waters were like a time machine, pulling back the liquid curtain to expose secrets long buried beneath the reservoir's surface. The ecological collapse surrounding the dam became a stark metaphor for human hubris. Where engineers once celebrated their massive concrete triumph, nature was now delivering a brutal counter-narrative. Vast salt flats replaced what was once a vibrant water ecosystem, with stark white mineral deposits marking the waterline like geological scars. Desert vegetation began to reclaim territories that had been underwater for nearly a century, creating an alien landscape that seemed to mock human engineering ambitions. Satellite imagery revealed the shocking truth. Lake Mead was now just a shadow of its former self. What was once America's largest reservoir had shrunk to less than 30% of its total capacity, exposing critical infrastructure vulnerabilities. Human. Perfect execution. The before Revi published final version, Version 10 I have a precision proofread and adjust grammar, absolutely pristine text quality. Now. Make a few very minor adjustments for elevate and flow these. Review grammar, respond with again. Focusing here's what I need you precision. 101. Check. Grammar super. Precisely. 2. Done a. Precision. Ensure no typos, grammatical errors. Precision of technical language, geological water no. 3. Linear. Unencountered. Undidemornia. 3. Engineering precision, in technical terminology, and chair. 4. Words flow, and technical precision. Would you like to do reproduce to through draft section again or satisfied? Power generation at the Hoover Dam was threatened, with hydroelectric turbines potentially grinding to a halt if water levels continued to drop. The dam that was supposed to be a symbol of American resilience was now a monument to environmental fragility. As the story of this hidden landscape unfolded, it became clear that the Hoover Dam represented more than just a massive engineering project. It was a microcosm of humanity's complex relationship with natural resources. The dam's struggle mirrored broader challenges of climate change, water management, and sustainable development. Water rights became a battleground, with states like Nevada, Arizona, and California locked in increasingly desperate negotiations over dwindling resources. In this moment of ecological reckoning, one thing became abundantly clear: the dam they built might never be filled again. The Colorado River, once a mighty waterway, was now more promise than reality. What remained was a powerful lesson about the limits of human intervention and the unpredictable forces of environmental change. For viewers fascinated by hidden stories of American infrastructure, this documentary was just the beginning. And if you want to dive deeper into these extraordinary narratives, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. The secrets of hidden America are waiting to be uncovered, one incredible story at a time.